Hi, everybody. RivkaLeah here. I am back live. Thank you for your grace when I was out of town at this wonderful personal development event that I was at. Met so many wonderful people, and I will be giving them a shout out later because they were just fabulous. Great community. So, as always, not a doctor or a therapist, and everything that I talk about is either from my life or the lives of my close personal friends. And tonight, I wanted to talk about quiet support and victim blaming and shaming and all of that kind of dark stuff that goes on when you've come through some type of trauma. So, I have had a lot of people say, quiet support. It's support, but it's quiet. It's okay. It's really good. You have a lot of quiet support. I'm pretty passionate about this, but I'm going to do really, really good tonight and not swear because I typically would say something pretty aggressive in a situation like that because quiet support, in my opinion, is not support whatsoever. Anyone can do a quick little Google search for quiet support and is it or is it not helpful? And you can come up with a whole bunch of things on how it is absolutely 100% not helpful. But hey, that's my opinion. You're welcome to form your own. And if you want to believe that quiet support is support for you and you're okay with that, have at it. I am not here to dictate anyone's life, and I am not here to tell you that your feelings are not your feelings. So these are 100% my feelings. And I do have a few people from the collective that are going to pop on with me later and kind of share their feelings about this as well. So, let's kind of dive in. Is it helpful or is it harmful? So, okay, let's go with it's helpful. Who's it helping? Is it helping the survivor or the victim? No, it's really not. It is helping the perpetrator because the person or individual or entity or whomever has caused this trauma, they more or less demand it and they coerce it out of people. And how does that happen? Oh, that's right. I've talked about this before. Society. Society encourages it because what is trauma? It's painful, right? It's something that we don't want to talk about. It's terrible. And it's the ugly truth. And where do we want to put that? We want to sweep that right under the rug. So, helpful? My opinion, not so much. Harmful? Yeah, pretty much. It's harmful to victims and survivors. It leaves people feeling isolated, invalidated. It feels that makes them feel blamed. What does it look like? It looks like a quiet little nod. It looks like a half-hearted smile, a little glance off to the side, like, yeah, I'm here for you. Guess what? That is not supportive. If you have ever gone through anything traumatic, um, it's hurtful, and you you kind of feel like your feelings are worthless when someone does that to you. What isn't it? It isn't active listening. It isn't validation of your feelings. It isn't an assurance that you're not alone. And it's most certainly not empathy, which is what victims and or survivors, however you want to deem yourself. If you've come through something, you may say that you're a victim. If you've come through something, you may say you're a survivor. However you want to classify yourself, having somebody giving you that quiet support, it's not the empathy that most individuals need during that time. And the result of all of that is you kind of question your emotions. And it can really intensify your feelings of isolation. You could say, close yourself off in your house for 2 years. You could black out all your windows and, not leave the house during the day, only go out at night. So that's what quiet support does to people. And I've seen this. I've seen this happen to individuals. Then they can self blame, and it can push the individual much, much farther into despair. It can push them into depression. It kind of blows up the trauma all over again. So, when people say that you have a lot of quiet support, it is them validating society, saying that it's okay for this trauma to continue. And that plays into the shaming and blaming game, right? That is when society, and it's a very deep-seated issue within society, because society has these attitudes, these misconceptions of what trauma and victimhood are. um, so they use this quiet support to say, hey, look, and we're great, we're really here with you, but we're back here in the corner where no one can see us and no one can validate your feelings, and we're going to make you feel like it was all your fault. That's how we're going to quietly support you. And as a victim or a survivor, that feels terrible. It feels terrible. It's not anything that I would ever want anyone to go through. And, society does this as a defense mechanism. It's so that they can distance themselves from the uncomfortable reality that, hey, absolutely anyone can be a victim. It can be any economic bracket, it can be any culture, any race, absolutely anything can be a contributing factor and can be a victim in any of those groups. Absolutely. There is not one single group in the world that can pull themselves apart and say, hey, we've never been a victim. Because unfortunately, in the real world, every group is affected on one level or another. And it's a small number. And the larger number, which is society, says it's uncomfortable. That's a bad thing. We don't want to talk about that. So we're going to quietly stand in this corner over here and give you a nod and say, yeah, that's really, really bad. It's terrible, but we're not going to do anything about it. So what can we do? Because really, what is this about? It's about ignorance, correct? Society, they're uncomfortable, so they don't really look into it any farther. You do have groups, obviously, that do come and speak out, but there needs to be more understanding about the complexities of trauma and the impact that it can have. So, coming on here and trying to raise awareness and promote the empathy that more people need and deserve, and to challenge those stereotypes, and, let people know that there are supportive networks out there, there's communities out there, and to try to promote both legal and societal changes, and that's going to take a lot. We've had a lot of changes throughout history in different areas for different types of things, and most of those things were born out of some sort of trauma, some sort of event that was so big that people had to stop their quiet support, and it kind of smacked everybody in the face and was like, hey, we can't be quiet anymore. This is much bigger than we realize. So, I my goal is to kind of bring a little bit more awareness here and start this movement. And in the collective, this is an absolutely 100% safe space. And you can come in here so that you get the verbal support, the out loud support, the let you know that it's not just quiet, because we really do support you. And I experienced this at this retreat, event, seminar, personal development, however you want to phrase it. It was part of my schooling. And I was in a community, and it is classified as that within this event, seminar, or whatever, as a community. There were 30 of us in this community. And these were some of the most impressive individuals that I have had the pleasure of getting to know. And I count myself very, very lucky that I have 30 brand new friends that understand the difference between quiet support and actual support. And I have actually talked to many of them since leaving this, seminar, and further our conversations about things like this. And as people do know, here in the collective, I also have a podcast, and several of these individuals have agreed to come on the podcast. So we'll be talking about other issues, trauma and entrepreneurship, and, maybe the quiet support, all the different intricacies that are woven together, and kind of show how pretty much everything is connected. So I wanted to kind of go over that a little bit with you tonight. And like I said, I do have two people from the collective with me here tonight, who want to share a little bit. I don't know 100% what they're going to share. It could be about quiet support. It could be about shaming and blaming that they've experienced, but I am going to bring them on, and you have seen them before. Like I said, they are part of the collective, and they are amazing individuals that I, again, am very, very blessed to be surrounding myself with. So let me bring them on and have them talk. So hold on one moment here. Hi guys.
Hi.
How are you?
We're unmuted now. There you go.
Okay. Did I have you muted? I'm sorry.
No, you did. So don't worry. It was us.
So I have Marissa and Nesto with me here. And, I know we've talked, obviously I've told everybody you're part of the collective, and I think everybody knows that. And we are very, very lucky to have you in the collective. We've talked about quiet support. We've talked about victim shaming and blaming. And I know that you guys are just as passionate about these topics as I am. So, and I was very good. I didn't swear as I did to you guys privately.
Well, it was interesting because, obviously outside of our little network that most people wouldn't understand, that we sit down on Mondays and discuss what the live is going to be, the podcast, everything. We planned it out all week. I've been thinking about this live all week once it was announced that it was going to be about silent support, because this is one of the topics I'm most passionate about when it comes to going through the situation of being a victim into survivor. And I personally never want to be in that situation of not showing the correct support to somebody else, considering I've been through it myself. And I personally am very passionate about it because I feel like silent support is the equivalent to somebody sticking their head in sand. That's how I've always viewed it. And if you put your head in sand, you are never aware of the truth, and you are never aware of the emotions of what somebody is going through. You are actually ignorant to the truth, and you are just looking at it as a surface level situation. If you truly want to say you are a supporter to somebody that you love, you have to be willing to get in the ring with them, go to the distance, put on the boxing gloves, whatever it requires, because you love that person. Unconditional love goes along with supporting people. And to me, silent support does not show unconditional love. And that is the moment to show up and really, really explain, I unconditionally love you. I'm going to be here for you. It doesn't always necessarily mean that you agree with somebody, but you support them. You support their journey into being healthier. You support their journey into being a survivor. That is
you acknowledge their feelings.
Yes.
Because no one can tell you that your feelings are wrong.
Yes.
And I would never want anybody to think that I'm coming in and saying, well, your feelings are wrong because this is how you felt. Absolutely not. These are
Correct.
my feelings, 100% my feelings. This is how I feel.
Correct.
I feel quiet support is very detrimental,
I agree.
and I have very strong words about it.
We all do. Do you have anything else about victim silent support? Because I've got one about victim shaming too. So go for it.
So I want to take it a step further. Like silent support as well is, for example, if you have people close to you, and say they're in a situation where you're not there to kind of defend yourself, and you're being, slandered by whoever it may be. In my case, ex-wife.
Smear campaign.
Right. And you don't step up to, at least try to defend me, or at least, say, hey, he's not there to defend him. He's not here to defend himself. Can you please not do that? To me, that is very important to me, and that's happened to me. And where people did not step up and say, hey, he's not here to defend himself, so just stop talking about that.
Right.
Because the thing is they could get on a roll and just be talking and talking and talking, and if nobody stops them, all this noise and this nonsense.
Wildfire.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And just to take that a step further, I think silent support also means stepping up for people that you love when they can't be there to defend themselves.
Right.
So
absolutely. And I appreciate that this is about people that you know and love, but it goes as far as other people. If you see something or you hear something, you're at work and the water cooler talk and people are chit-chatting and saying, oh, well, did you hear about this, that, and other thing? That was just so terrible. I really support them. But they never say that to the person that actually is going through it. That's not support. All that is gossip at that point, and it's harming the individual who's going through whatever it is they're going through. And and I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I think that as human beings, we've all done this at one point or another in our lives, and it comes in degrees as everything else does. But as we get older and we mature and we go through a lot of different experiences, we understand the impacts that it can have.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, it's like anything. When we're more educated because we've gone through the experience, it puts us in a better position of power to be there for others.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what this group is about, is that information and that education to be a better version of ourselves to help others as well, not just ourselves.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And people that have come through this, that's where the empathy comes in, that you are not alone. And that's where the actual support comes from. It's no longer quiet, because you're not alone. You are here in a safe place, and we will listen, and we'll be there if you just need to let it out. There's no judgment. Yes. So what do you got on shaming and blaming?
Oh, this is my favorite one. So you get very passionate about the silent support. The victim shaming is mine to be very passionate about, because I know I'm speaking for myself, but actually somebody else that is in the collective as well, that our personal experience, because we were raised in a very similar situation, that it's easier for people to judge and chastise the victim, because generally speaking, the victim is in shock. When you're in that situation, you don't know what to do, because it's been so much of a shock to your system. You do not know what's first, what's second. And you also, generally speaking, victims are very humble, in my opinion. That's what I've encountered from myself and others. And so it's easy to pick on that person, because it's like whiplash at that moment of you don't know what's going on. You're trying to find your common or your tether again. And I will tell you, when I went through that personally, I was better supported by clients of mine or strangers than my own personal circle, or the people that I should say that I 100% in the past would have said they will show up for me. They didn't. And so it was a real lesson. And I will tell you, Rivka, that the way I handled it is I took a moment. I was standing in my kitchen. I'll never forget this, 5 years ago. And I stood there and I thought, okay, I'm going to step back and watch who shows up.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually take a step back instead of having to defend myself and prove myself to everybody. Nope. I'm going to go and take a step back, take a deep breath, and go, okay, who's going to be in my corner? Because I'll be in their corner. Anybody that shows up, I will be in their corner. And I just waited. And it was very much of a moment to realize that a lot of the people that are in our lives, being silent supporters, when those moments come, okay, go with grace. And that's it.
Yep. And, I had one of those exact same realizations, and that's how I eliminated those people from my lives. They came in with their quiet support, but it was also to, get gossip and to get the dirt. What's really happening? That's not helpful. That's not helpful whatsoever. So those people were eliminated from my life. And now I've met wonderful people like you. And I have these wonderful people from my community that I was just at. And that's what you surround yourself with. You find the people who are going to support you. And thank you. I just saw that. Somebody said that they missed most of it. Yes, watch the replay. So yeah, you do. You eliminate the people, and that comes again with experience. It comes with education, with knowledge, and having gone through something, and you see what is right for you. I probably should not say this, but I had a conversation today with someone from my other community. And I said, who had been going through something. And I said, as you learn and grow, your vibration changes. So the other people fall off. And I think that the word bottom feeder was used.
That's a good one.
And those are the people that fall away. And you have people with a much higher vibration that come up.
Or the energy vampires as well.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've always loved that term, but it is true. And you know what? Once you've gone through this, the whole point, I believe, after I went through what I went through, I found that my mission was clear: to be 100% authentically there for anybody else that God puts in my life, that I need to then in turn go to them and be there 100% or as authentic as possible and show up as hard as I can, because everybody deserves it and most people never get it. So we are all empowered to turn around and do that for others now. That is the ultimate gift, is pay it forward. That's all we can do.
I agree. So, all right, guys, do you have anything else, Nesto, you want to add?
Yeah, you're up.
No,
It's on you.
No, I don't. Marissa,
Should I shame you into this?
No.
I'm kidding. I am
You're
kidding.
supposed to be the example here.
That's
no,
right.
I am kidding. I absolutely would not do that.
But we
That
know.
is 100% a joke.
Mhm.
So, okay. I am glad that you guys were able to hop on with me tonight. I think it's important that people do see that the collective is just that. It's a collective. I have an amazing group of people supporting me. And I want everybody who is coming into the collective to know that you're not just getting me, you're getting this amazing group of people behind me. And, Marissa and Nestor are only two of them. We have a whole bunch more working behind the scenes that you never see. So I want everybody to be aware of that. And as always, we mentioned it a couple times tonight, there is a podcast, From Darkness to Radiance. If anyone is ever interested in coming on, please feel free to reach out to me, reach out to the admins, and I am happy to talk to anybody and see if we can work out something where you can come on. There is also a course, From Darkness to Radiance, so that you can learn more about this and the types of people that perpetuate the trauma onto other individuals, and how to get out of, experiencing quiet support, and how you can get the actual support for yourself if you happen to be a survivor or a victim, and how you, as a human being can openly support others. So leaving that with you, I hope everybody has a fabulous weekend. It is going to be a beautiful fall weekend here where I am. And I think there's also a super moon. It might have been last night or it could be tonight. I can't remember, but I was just out with the dog and I looked up and the moon is absolutely beautiful. So I hope everybody can experience a little bit with that. And I will see everybody next week. So cheers, everybody.